What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having an amazing day. I'm James Salvatore, and today I have something pretty special here for you all. This is the 2020 Porsche Cayman GT4, and in today's video, like always, I'm going to be going over some facts about the car, and then we're going to go out for a ride and see how it goes. But before we do so, be sure, if you're new, to smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm, and be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you're alerted when I post my future content. On the channel, I typically do new car reviews, new car comparisons, classics, exotics. So if that's your thing, be sure to stick around. And with that said, cue the cinematics. At first glance, you can tell right away that the Cayman GT4 is a truly track-ready performance car. I mean, just look at it. Look at the proportions. They're gorgeous. You know, from its aggressive stance, to its fixed wing in the rear, to its minimalist interior, and most importantly, that manual transmission. This is an automotive enthusiast's dream right here. And when it comes to performance with the powertrain, you get a naturally aspirated boxer flat six that revs out to 8,000 RPM, producing 414 horsepower and 309 foot-pounds of torque. It's mated to a 6-speed manual in this application, making for a claimed 0 to 60 of 4.2 seconds. However, the Cayman isn't just about straight-line performance. It's primarily about balance. I mean, that's the whole reason why it's a mid-engine sports car and not, you know, a front engine like a traditional car or rear like the 911, because there are certain things that can only be accomplished when you have most of the weight in the center of the vehicle. So that makes this a very unique car, because there's only few cars that are mid-engine until you get into the $200,000-$300,000 range. But let's check out the interior. And on the inside of the GT4, as you can see, things are very simple here. I like that I have a steering wheel that isn't overcomplicated. You can see there's no buttons on it. And what other car on the market today literally has no buttons on the steering wheel? That's how you know that this is such a performance-focused car, because I like that Porsche just doesn't bother cluttering you with all this useless information and useless buttons. No, it's about the driving experience of one of these. And you know, you can see with the infotainment system, you know, they give you an infotainment system. It's very straightforward. You know, you have all the creature comforts that you could possibly want, but they just don't overdo it. And that's what I like. But you know, enough talking about this thing. You guys don't want to hear me talk. You guys want to see this thing go. So let's go for a drive. All right, getting into the GT4. You know, first impressions are this is a very composed, actually surprisingly comfortable car, but it definitely feels like it's capable. I mean, you know, it's well planted. You know, it's well sorted out, but it surprisingly has better road manners than, say, something like a GT3, in my opinion. The engine sounds very similar to a GT3. It's got that nice classic Porsche flat six whale, which, you know, unfortunately we've lost in the Cayman over the years, you know, the other models of the Cayman. But, you know, in this car, you know, it feels so right to have this sound behind you in this platform. And, you know, the balance that you feel out of this car is just, it's amazing. It feels so connected to the road, and you know, you're so low in this car that you feel everything, but it's not jarring. You know, it's composed, like I said before. And although the gears are a little bit too tall for my liking on the road, because you can't really get through any of them, you can't really get through the gears on the road. You don't, you know, you run out of space because the car is quick. The transmission, the feel you get from it is right on point. It really is, honestly. I mean, they're nice, short, notchy shifts. You know exactly where you're going. I mean, Porsche is just, they make some of the best manual transmissions available, period, in my opinion. And this vehicle certainly doesn't disappoint. However, for the street, I think that they should have maybe geared this a little bit shorter. This way you can enjoy it. But then again, this is the GT4, so this is the all-out kind of track variant. So yeah, you know, maybe the taller gears make sense on track. Because around town, going 23 miles an hour, like, you know, in a slow zone, you have to literally be in first gear, otherwise you'll stall. But just listen to that wail. It's just beautiful. What's also neat is how they've incorporated their start-stop technology. So if you go into neutral at a stoplight with the clutch in, it'll cut the motor, which I find pretty unique. And it's not intrusive at all. So when you go to put your clutch in to go back into first, or you know whatnot, the motor's already on. It's, you know, it's already there. So it's not an annoying start-stop like in a lot of cars. I mean, watch, just going into neutral again. Car shuts off, very smooth. Go to put it in first. It's just right there. I like it. Not a bad start-stop system. And as far as how the cabin's laid out, it's pretty standard, you know, for the Cayman. The Cayman's, you know, this generation of Cayman's been around for, you know, quite a few years now. Everything is within reach. You know, it's a very simple, very basic interior. It's not meant to be ultra luxurious, but it gives you everything you need, and it's comfortable in here. You know, it feels like this car wraps around you. And I really love how the gauge clusters in this car are just so clear and easy to read. They put everything in front of you that you need and nothing that you don't. Which, you know, is a welcome change, because in a lot of cars today, especially cars with the digital dashes, you know, they put a bunch of information in your face that, yeah, it looks cool, but you don't really need. And in a, you know, in a real driver's car, you don't want all that. And like I said earlier, the steering wheel has no buttons, so it feels kind of like an older car, you know, like a 90s or an 80s car in a sense, because, you know, it's not overcomplicated. I haven't driven a car that hasn't had, you know, a steering wheel littered with buttons in years. Rather, instead, to control the configurable gauge cluster in the right bubble, you have a little knob down here that allows you to control those functionalities, and I like that they did that. But oh wow, it's just beautiful out here. You know, this is just a nice car to just go for a cruise in, and to have the whale of the flat six behind you is just special. Everything about this car just feels special, as it should. You know, for a car at this price point, you're buying it because you want a different experience. You want something that's special. And it definitely delivers on that.
Turn left to stay on Greens Farm Road. Continue for 2 miles.
Now we're approaching a little bit of a windy road, so I could kind of get a feel for the balance. Wow, this car is just so planted. You know, you feel one with the car. You truly do. Wow. And you know, even in the stiffest suspension setting, this really isn't jarring. That's what I really love about how Porsche engineers their cars. You know, there's a lot of cars that'll be really stiff to try to give you like that sporty driving experience, but it just throws you, you know, it's jarring, it throws you around the car, it's not comfortable. This feels so planted, it's so composed on the road, but yet, you know, the bumps are dampened. You know, in a car that's this high performance, it doesn't beat you up. If you really wanted to daily drive this, which I doubt you would, I feel like you actually could, because you have a fair amount of storage in the front and in the rear of the car. Because this is mid-engine, you get 2 trunks, which is pretty cool. And that's only halfway through the rev range. Because this is, you know, in its break-in period, I'm not really taking the car past 3,800 RPM because it's not good during the break-in period. So that's why, if you're wondering why I'm not winding out the car, that is the reason why. Even driving this at slow speeds, you know, you get a concept for how direct and how responsive the car is. I mean, the littlest inputs really do make the difference. I mean, overall, in my opinion, I don't really think there's much to not like about the GT4, other than I'm not on a track right now, and for some reason this doesn't have front lift, which I'm sure is an option, because it really makes, you know, without having that front lift system, I really do feel limited, especially when, you know, seeing speed bumps, you're just like, it's not doing that. So if you spec one of these, I highly recommend that you do get that front lift system if it is an option, because this car is very low and you do not want to scrape. All right, guys, we're gonna get a little bit of tunnel sound. Wow, just listen to that. All in all, guys, I mean, the Cayman GT4 is just a truly complete package. And if you're an automotive enthusiast that really enjoys an analog driving experience but wants it out of a modern car, you can't go wrong with this. I mean, it's just so balanced. You know, everything's just like perfect. I mean, I swear, you know, the shifts, the clutch, the way it handles, the damping, the sound, it's all there, guys. You know, it's exactly what you'd hope it'd be. Honestly, that's the best way I could say it, is it's exactly the way you'd hope it would be. And I'm not exaggerating, because I don't exaggerate. On this channel, if you follow me, you know I speak my mind about cars. I don't make every car look good, but this car honestly just is that good. And to boot, for those of you purists out there, this has hydraulic steering. So, I mean, like I said, complete package here, guys. And, you know, I don't know how much longer Porsche is going to be making these cars, but just be happy that they're making them now and scoop them up while you can. That's my best advice for you. And I look forward to hopefully being able to drive one of these on track someday, because, oh man, the things that this thing would do on track, I can only imagine. Well, that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it for you all. If you haven't done so yet, and if you're new, be sure to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm, because it really helps, and be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you don't miss out on new videos every Wednesday and Sunday. Before we go though, I'd like to say a special thanks to my friends down at Porsche of Fairfield, Connecticut for making this review possible. They're an awesome, super helpful, friendly group of people, and they have a lot of rare models in their inventory. So if you're in the market for a new Porsche, be sure to check them out. I'm going to leave a link in my description below so that you can do so. And with that said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next video.